Hey everyone, welcome to Served. Exciting stuff. Cincinnati is finished. Bit of an anticlimax in the finals situation. We will get to it in the Racket Rundown, brought to you by Wilson. Also brought to you by Wilson, coincidentally, later in the episode, the new star of tennis, Victoria Mboko. She was awesome. I say was because the way that this show somehow, sometimes gets put together is Mboko says 8:30 is the time that I can do it. Let's do it before practice. And I mean AM, not PM. Great. We will take. You're amazing. Thank you for giving us the time. Jon Wertheim says 9:15 we can do winners and heirs. So that's great. We're going to do that. And then we need to include, obviously, a Masters 1000 recap before a Tuesday release. Well, 8:15 p.m., and we now have done that. So this has been a bit of a Frankenstein episode. Sometimes we do these episodes, and you don't even know. You'll see later in the episode I have a different shirt on from this morning before I went to work out. But that's the way it works.
I'm in a different location.
Mike, the drive across town is like minutes long, so he couldn't do it. It was too much.
I couldn't be bothered.
You know who is here? You know who did make the trip? Techie Sean. Techie Sean was here.
He's committed.
Was here at
it's my job.
8:15 this morning. Was here at 8:15 this evening. But you'll love our chat with Victoria Mboko. Didn't know her at all past what I've watched, and I've loved watching. She's just a delight. So, but first, let's do a Cincinnati recap. Listen, what you want out of lead-in events to the Grand Slams is, maybe something changes, right? What has changed post-Cincinnati versus pre-Cincinnati? Pre-Cincinnati, we would have said on the men's side, Sinner and Alcaraz, right? Those are the two. That's the conversation. Leaving Cincinnati, what's the conversation? Sinner and Alcaraz, right? They outperformed. They were above the field. What's changed? Alcaraz dropped a couple sets, won a couple tightrope walks, still has a positive head-to-head against Sinner. Sinner, less dramatic on the court, drilled guys, got through, and still Alcaraz is the toughest matchup for Sinner. Now, what has changed is us being concerned about Sinner potentially being sick. Right. He didn't look right from the jump today. I was all settled in like the rest of you chuckers, 3 p.m. on a Monday, which is a great time to play a final. That's fantastic. That's how to bring in the audience of the biggest rivalry in tennis now is put it on 3 p.m. on a fucking Monday.
You're saying why not do it Sunday night?
Sunday, like the whole point of a Monday was because, okay, let's make it an 8-day tournament. We can give some relief potentially on a first round if people do well in Canada. 2 weeks together is really tight. It's not 2 weeks together. And we're still on a Monday at 3 p.m. to a stateside.
They're in prime time in London.
Yeah, prime time in London, prime time on an afternoon on a work day in the States. Like, what are we doing? If we're going to add 3 days, can we not pick the absolute worst time possible to play a final? 3 p.m. on a Monday?
Yeah, I feel like if I was Tennis Channel, I'd be fighting that scheduling.
I mean, that's rough. So hopefully it all gets settled. And if we're going to do, which I fully support, and I'm going to get crushed for it because I go off on a rant later in the show about how excited I am about the mixed doubles at the U.S. Open. If we're going to do that on Tuesday, Wednesday, it's tough to finish with those participants, all of them, and then flip it around. Sinner, we talk about it. We talked about the Frankenstein of an episode. We do talk about Sinner being a part of the mixed doubles. I'll be shocked if he posts on Tuesday after retiring on a Monday at Cincinnati. So I don't know what's changed. The top are still the top. The two dudes are still the two dudes. I think the next three names off of most people's lips after Alcaraz and Sinner going into the US Open before this tournament would have probably been Shelton, Zverev, and Fritz. And after this tournament, it's probably Shelton, Zverev, and Fritz, right? So, Rublev had a nice run, played Chucky Alcaraz tough, but we know he's a really good player. Atmane was the standout. Atmane, because of the way the rankings work, he's going to spend his week in qualies this week. He's not worried about that. He would love to have the issue of the quick turnaround time for the mixed doubles championship. He was a dream to watch. He was really fun. Surfaces change, results change. On the women's side, Swiatek a lot of momentum post Wimbledon. Swiatek, a lot of momentum post Wimbledon. I think the biggest thing that's changed post Wimbledon on the women's tour, question marks around Sabalenka. She's had some really tough losses, not in her ability, not in her greatness, not in the macro view of Sabalenka, just the scar tissue of Grand Slam losses. Like, I know, I know too well what it's like to lose a Grand Slam final. I know that you can force yourself to have as good of an attitude as you think you can. You can even think you're over it, and it's still there. You still feel it. So she's been so good for the last 3 years. There's gonna be something with enough near misses, right? So we'll see. Coco, a question mark. Obviously winning Roland Garros. Exit at Wimbledon, not too concerned. Not playing great over the U.S. hardcourt season, which suits her game. She's really good on it. The ball gets up. She can drive through it. She obviously had that great run a couple of years ago. Those are probably the things that have changed. Are question marks around Sabalenka, Coco. The one person who's found a lot of form consistently the last couple of weeks is Rybakina. She's going to be a problem at the U.S. Open. And I love Paolini. She is such a complete player. And I'm going to say something and everyone's going to go crazy, but just give me some time to breathe after I say it. She might be the most complete player in the women's game. Now, by that, I mean she can defend far behind the baseline. She can play different heights off of both sides, forehand loop, forehand drive, take away time, step into the court. But you can't solve for serving 82 miles an hour sometimes against Swiatek, right? She will get overpowered sometimes, but man, she might not be tall in stature, but she is tall in heart, she is tall in fight, and she is tall in watchability. I'll tell you that much right now. She is a dream to watch. Swiatek, dominant. Didn't drop a set in Cincinnati, and she's flipping narratives all over the place, right? It used to be, okay, Clay's the thing, she's going to win some outside of it. How about winning Wimbledon and then backing it up with maybe the fastest hardcourt tournament of the year without dropping a set in Cincinnati? And she spent some time on this very show a couple of weeks ago saying, I served really well at Wimbledon. I hope I can keep doing it. I hope I can keep making serves when I'm ramping it up to 115 or 120. She did it. I would be hard pressed to bet against her in New York. Not saying she won't lose in New York, but I think she's the favorite based on current form, based on the relief of turning the year around at Wimbledon. Carlos Alcaraz is a maniac. I mean, just an absolute maniac. Sinner is an absolute maniac. I'll tell you one thing, guys, that was something that Carlos did completely wrong this week. You ready?
What's up?
If someone retires and they're sick, you give them a fist bump. You know what I'm going to say? Sorry. If producer Mike came in here and was like, guys, I'm pretty sick. I don't know if I can finish the show. Guess how close I would be to producer Mike? Not close. I'd say, get out. Go home to that other little studio. You're not making everyone sick. The only error that Carlos made all week was his proximity to Sinner once we suspected that Sinner wasn't feeling well. And maybe it's just for the day. I don't care. There's no hug at the net, and these two are the classiest people, and I can already see you're getting upset with him for being classy. No, I love it. And if I'm his coach, I'm going to be going, get away. However you say it in Spanish, I say, get away from him. Don't stand next to him. Don't go see if he's okay. Skip the pictures. Do not get close to him. You have the U.S. Open coming up. You have been on a heater. You've made the finals of your last 7 events. Every single event that he's played since Miami, he's made at least the finals of. And won most of them. He is on an absolute heater. We hope that Sinner is healthy. If he's got a 4 or 5 day bug, you don't want to say it, but if it's, something, that's going to be a rough one physically to get ready for. There's no chance he can play the mixed doubles. And if you're Siniakova, I'm going full Alcaraz on you too. Don't stand next to him. At least she has the upside of $1 million if she plays with him. But Chucky, don't get near him. Get away from him if he's sick. Don't give a little, no, get away. See ya. Probably the weirdest racket rundown brought to you by Wilson that I have ever done. There will be some sanity on the other side of this break. I hope And it is brought to you not by me, not by Techie Sean, not by producer Mike. It is brought to you by an 18-year-old, soon to be 19-year-old, Vicky Mboko. I hope you enjoy the conversation. Couldn't have been more impressed with her tennis last week. Couldn't have been more impressed with her responses this week. We have Vicky Mboko on the other side. Thank you for watching Served. Subscribe. All right, welcome back to Served. As promised, we all watched her amazing victory up in Canada. She has been traveling the world this year, just winning a bunch of tennis matches. Vicky Mboko getting ready for the U.S. Open. Congratulations. And I will tell you, this is early in the morning. We kind of package all of our segments together. This young woman, I don't know what I'm more impressed by, her victory at the Masters 1000 up north, or being 7 minutes early for an interview brought to you by our friends at Wilson. Vicky, how are you in the aftermath of your victory in Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing great. Of course, a lot has happened in the past week or so, but I've been kind of focused on the next tournaments, so I kind of accelerate a little bit, but I had to lock in pretty fast and early. But yeah, I mean, after all of that, I feel pretty good and good with myself, at least.
Good. You started the year, and this has been written probably ad nauseum by now, since Canada, and even for those in the know before Canada, outside of the top 330 in the world. And you started your year in Rome, but it was in Rome, Georgia. And then Manchester, wins in Portugal, couple at the BJK Cup in Tokyo, back to Rome where you played one Coco Gauff, Canadian. I mean, you've been all over Earth this year. You've been putting in work. Yeah.
I mean, I've been traveling a lot, but it's part of the game. And I enjoy it most of all, traveling. So I think it's an easy task for me, that part.
Walk us through the Canadian Open, right? So the one thing that stood out for me is every player who's kind of gone through the different levels, especially at a rapid pace like you have this year, normally runs into the test of physicality at some point. I remember I was in the French Open one year after I kind of made my move, playing a 5-setter. Body fully gave out, right? Cramping everywhere, couldn't put the pieces together. Your physicality in Canada, in the ability to stand up to those matches, especially losing in the first set to great players in a bunch of those, how are you so prepared physically? And that's before we get to the tennis, and that's before we get to the mental part.
Yeah, well, I mean, during the Canadian Open, since it was I think 7 matches I played, it was quite a lot. I think the most I played in a tournament. So I would say towards the end, I was pretty tired physically and mentally a little bit. But I think what kind of kept me going was that, hey, I'm so happy to even play a 1000 and to play against these girls. So I honestly wanted to match whatever they were producing. To me, they didn't seem so tired, so I didn't really want to show that I was out of gas or I couldn't keep up, because I had the ability to. And of course, there were moments where I wanted to maybe, I was really tired and I might have not been able to keep up as much, but I think I really wanted it so badly that my body had to keep going. And I mean, it worked out in my favor at the end, because it was really helpful in the moments where the match could have gone completely the other way. And even some of the matches where I was down match points, down sets, I just wanted to hang in there as much as possible and just fight until the last point.
Let's take the other side of the coin. Let's talk about the mental, because Coco mentioned your movement. Other players talked about your power, but I think what was really so impressive to everyone watching was your poise. It says you're about to turn 19 next week, but I don't think too many people would have guessed that watching it. Where do you get that? Where does your mind go during the tense moments of matches? How do you stay so poised?
Honestly, in those kinds of moments, I feel like it's in my head, I'm actually really nervous and I'm really tight, but I try to not put as many thoughts in my head as possible. I try to keep it really numb up here, and I really don't want to think about a lot in those moments, because when I feel like I pretend like I don't care, that's actually when I'm playing a bit better. But when I kind of let it catch up to me, and I get nervous and I get tight, nothing is going to come out of my racket, and I'm not going to move well, and everything just kind of crumbles down at that one moment. But yeah, I think especially when it's tight games, down match points, those kinds of moments, I really just don't like to think about anything at all. I just go there and swing, I guess.
Something else we don't often see when someone is so young is the idea of gratitude, right? And so talk about the week in Canada and the entire country getting behind you to the point where the men's final is going on, you win, and the entire stadium erupts into a standing ovation. And it's not something you just acknowledge. It's something that you seem to mention and celebrate over and over. What did it mean to you, your country getting behind you during this run?
Yeah, I mean, that whole experience was kind of crazy. Like, the Canadian Open is one tournament that so many young Canadians, boys and girls, they really look forward to playing in the future, because that's like our US Open in a way. And honestly, for me, the beginning to play at the main draw of a tournament like that, it was such a big deal for me, and I was so incredibly thankful, and I felt so happy to even be there. But let alone when I remember my first match, when before I went on, I was really nervous. But I think when I went on the court and I saw so many people like clapping for me and supporting me, it really kind of warmed my heart a little bit. And I think it definitely helped me in many moments where I was down in the match, and they would just help me pull it through. No matter what, they're always rooting for me, and that's not something we experience a lot because there's not many tournaments in Canada either. So throughout the tournament, more and more spectators came and fans. At some point, everyone had posters of some slogans that they would like hold up during the match, and I thought that was really cute. So yeah, just moments like that, it just really made me so happy. And I think at the end of every single match, that's the loudest I've ever heard a whole stadium cheering for me. So that was honestly incredible, and I think that made my whole week, to be honest.
Part of breaking through is sort of introducing the world to your tennis. Part of breaking through is also just introducing the world to who you are. What do you, I mean, first, I have a specific question where I read something very disturbing that I'm wondering if you can confirm or deny, but you had a sibling beat you love and love in a tournament?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, my sister, she's 10 years older than me. So I was really competitive. I have 3 older siblings, for reference, 1 older sister and 2 older brothers, and they're a lot older than me. Like the closest age gap is 7 years between me and my brother. So growing up, I never wanted to lose to them. But then again, every time I played my sister, it was an 8-year-old versus an 18-year-old. So yeah, I remember once our academy tournament director kind of put us against each other first round because I was an alternate in the tournament. And yeah, she let me choose. They let me choose the type of ball, and whatever court surface we were able to choose, and she annihilated me 0-0. And I think that was the most I've ever cried in a day. I just remember like crying in my dad's arms the rest of the day, and I think I didn't talk to her for like a good week.
Let's get to the happier moment, because this often happens. My older brother played tennis. He played at Georgia, was a good player, played junior Grand Slams. And I remember he would come home from he would come home from college during the summer. And one summer I lost to him, similar to your story, not quite 0-0, but not good. 1-1, 1-2. And then the next summer, different story. Flipped the script, never to return again. He was never going to beat me again. Talk about the first time you flipped it on one of your siblings.
I actually never flipped it. That's the thing. Like
I have a feeling you just need to play them.
Yeah, I mean, I've been asking them. They're like, "Oh, we'll play one summer." They'll never want to play me.
Smart. I like that. You did get an MRI on your wrist before the final. Obviously, you pulled out of Cincinnati, which, if there is any sort of fatigue or injury scare. Smart thing to do, especially at a young age. What is the situation with the wrist? Are you good to go? Was it just a wear and tear type thing from playing so much tennis?
Yeah, so the wrist thing, it happened in the semifinals where I fell against Elena. And I mean, it was hurting pretty badly during the match, but I taped it up as much as I could. And thankfully, I was able to finish the semifinal. The morning of the final, there was a little bit of a scare because my wrist didn't feel correct, like it didn't feel right. So me and my team decided to go to a clinic nearby, and we were able to do an MRI and an X-ray just to make sure nothing was too serious before the final. Because honestly, the way I woke up, I was honestly contemplating if I should play the final. It was really not great. It was hard to even like do daily activities like brush my hair, brush my teeth, stuff like that. So yeah, we wanted to go just to scan it to see if anything was horrible. Thankfully, no. It was some slight, like there was a lot of inflammation. It was really swollen, my wrist, but I think I was confident. I really wanted to play the final, so I really had to push it through. And with a lot of anti-inflammatory painkillers, Advils, I was able to play. I wrapped up my wrist pretty tight for the final. Some moments in the match, it was quite bugging me a little bit, and it was pretty tough to serve as well. But I think I wanted it so bad that I was able just to play through the pain. And with the adrenaline going on, I didn't feel much at the end of the day. But yeah, even after the tournament, it wasn't doing so great. But I've been doing a lot of rehab, and I've been taking quite good care of it. So it was a given. I wasn't able to play Cincinnati or Cleveland. So I just stayed home, did a lot of treatment, did a lot of rehab prevention, and we're just doing as much as I can possibly to be ready for the US Open, but it's doing a lot better now.
I don't know if you've ever sparked up YouTube and watched your coach play. She was kind of she was an attacking player, spoke her mind. I'm not sure her game necessarily reminds anyone of yours. Talk about Nathalie Tauziat, how you guys hooked up and what she has contributed to the enterprise here.
Yeah, so I've been with Tennis Canada, the federation, since I was about 13, 14. So she was just ultimately a touring coach for us. At the beginning, as a junior, I didn't work with her. I was with another coach, but we've been in the same group traveling for quite a while now. So when I joined back with Tennis Canada the beginning of this year, she was kind of assigned to me, and I've been traveling with her ever since. But yeah, because she's known me for so long and kind of knows what I like, what I don't like, and how I can be on and off the court. I think we've been able to kind of adapt to how I like things, and I think I like her a lot. She's really great on and off the court, and I mean, she used to play as well, so she has that kind of insight of how it is on the tour and how things can be good or bad. So I think I feel pretty comfortable with her kind of guiding me some ways and teaching me some new things as well.
I remember watching her play. There was not a deficit of feel and flair and touch with watching Tauziat play. I enjoyed that for a long time. As we project forward, obviously, all eyes are going to be on New York very soon. Your process to New York is a little different. Like, you were a lucky loser in Wimbledon. You have had to kind of play and claw your way into events all year. Now it's great. You get to start. You get to start in the tournament. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
How is that process going to be a little bit different? And how much are you looking forward to playing in a U.S. Open as a direct entry?
Yeah, I mean, this is such a new experience for me. Honestly, if you would have told me a year ago I was going to be direct acceptance into the main draw of US Open, I would have told you you're crazy. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. I think I'll even be seated, which is insane to think about. But yeah, of course, there's a different approach because you already know that you're in the draw, so you have a more clear schedule of what things are going to look like this week. So Yeah, I think I'm heading to New York on Tuesday, and I think I have a lot more time to prepare as well. And no, I think I'm really excited. First of all, I think I want to have as much fun as possible, and it's my first time also playing in the main draw or in US Open on the WTA tour, so that's a really new experience for me. So I think along the way, I'm just gonna ease into it, and yeah, I think it's a really great opportunity. So I just want to capitalize on as much as I can, and honestly, just have as much as fun as possible.
Vicky, thank you for coming on Served. I know that the demands on your time are probably outsized at this point. As someone who's been a lifelong fan of this sport, I think you're such a breath of fresh air. I love the way you compete. I love the way you prepare. I love the gratitude you seem to show for everything and everyone. I wish you continued success, kick ass in New York, and we'll see you up there. Thanks again for joining Served.
Thank you so much for having me. That was really fun.
I mean, one, thank you for Wilson for getting Vicky Mboko. They put the whole thing together, so we appreciate them. And two, she's turning 19. Like I was a moron when I was 19. Like these prototypes are just coming out mature, thoughtful. Like JW, what were your takeaways? You've probably spent more time, investing in her and listening to her. I mean, she's amazing.
I wanted to shake her hand, and I wanted to shake her parents and siblings' hands as well. That was rather impressive. I wonder too. I mean, you were in this. I mean, we sort of you talked about this a bit. I wonder if she's significantly the youngest of four and significantly so. I wonder. I mean, we can play psychologist and wonder what role that plays. But yeah, I mean, this sport, traveling around the world at 18, building your ranking, going to cities, but also going to Rome, Georgia. That might be the cumulative effect, what we just heard for the last 15 or 20 minutes. That was really impressive.
Well, it's also so weird. It's like she just won 1,000. She's now seeded. She's had, the tennis world's eyes on her for the better part of 3 weeks now. And anytime you wanted to get her to a point where she was talking about her successes, she went back to, I'm just so happy to be in the main draw of an event, even to just play 1,000. I got a wild card. I wanted to live up to it. Yeah, I'd say you might have lived up to it by winning in your home country. I'm blown away. I think she's amazing. She's great to watch. The physical presence, the mental presence. I wish her continued success. She's just so mature. As we said, I'm a stickler for time. I go crazy when we're sitting here kind of going over our show notes as we do. We'll get on 10 minutes before, and Jon always has a better question than I have, and then we kind of march through what our process is going to be, and bloop, she shows up 5 minutes early. We're like, whoa, that's never happened. How do we respond to this 18-year-old who's ahead of schedule? Thank you, Vicky Mboko, for joining Served. Thank you, Wilson, for putting it together. And we will see. Mike, what do we have this week? This is I'm a little lost on shows. Monday we're going to recap Cincy later today. Mm-hmm. Throw this interview and that'll come out tomorrow morning. And then what else we got?
We still have one more segment of this show. So you're in a rush.
We do?
Yeah. Sweet. We have winners and errors from Jon Wertheim.
Oh, apparently we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Served. I know that you all are super pumped because by the time you've watched this, you've seen the Cincy Finals, Alcaraz Sinner. We had an interview with tennis's new star, Vicky Mboko, but now the moment you've all been waiting for. Winners and errors. Dun, 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 with Jon Wertheim.
We need real theme music beyond Andy whistling here. All right, let's go real quick. Just jump in here. So timestamp. We're going to do this before the Monday final. We can talk about the wisdom of Monday afternoon finals later. How about a winner for Rivalry? This is the 14th meeting of Sinner and Alcaraz. You know how many times McEnroe and Borg played each other? 14. These guys have played each other as many times at ages, 22 and 23 as one of the great storied rivalries in tennis history. Long live Rivalry, regardless of who you root for and who you like. When one player has another player in their sights, we all benefit. What do you think?
Yeah, no brainer. And this is just the beginning. I mean, tennis forever has thrived on on Rivalry's matchups, and it seems like a lot of the time it's like the personalities are different, the playing styles are slightly different, and here we are again, right? It's like this is this generation's iconic rivalry that is forming in real time, and it's weird because, to your point with Borg and McEnroe, we feel like this is still growing, and we saw him in Grand Slam finals for the first time, even way back when 10 weeks ago, right? And so to compare it and give that context with Borg and McEnroe having only played 14 times, this is here. This rivalry is real. It's built. Now, how far can it go? Amazing.
All right, here's another winner. Did you happen to catch much of Terence Atmane, the French qualifier ranked outside the top 100, who qualified and then, get this, beat Caboli, a week 2 player at Wimbledon, Joao Fonseca, who, okay, the heat may be diminishing, but still one of the great prospects in this sport, Taylor Fritz, Holger Rune, and played center to a tiebreak. Ironically enough, because of draw cutoffs and tennis kookiness, he now gets to try and qualify for the U.S. Open after that run. But 111 mile an hour forehand one. I mean, that Terence Atmane gave. Has anyone? Imagine how you would be responding to this if you were about to play a big match and before you went on court, your opponent said, "Hey, dude, I got something for you. Happy birthday. Here's a Pokemon card." Apart from the standout tennis, what a real character this guy revealed himself to be. Did you catch him giving Sinner the Pokemon card before their match? But Terence Atmane, all around, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things is he has that kind of retro service motion, like that Roscoe Tanner. It gets just above your earlobe, and then you're just hitting it, and it kind of is quirky, and you could see people struggling with the timing on returns, whether it was Fritz or even the first set against Sinner. If it takes Sinner, 6 service games to get a read on your serve, you're doing something right. He's not giving it away out of the hand. A lot of fun to watch. And listen, ranking is one thing, but he talked about a bunch during this week. This is amazing because now I have the finances to actually plan my career in a responsible manner. Made $330,000 or somewhere thereabouts in Cincinnati. Was a ton of fun to watch. And also, I'm a broken record on this, John. When you mix surfaces and all of a sudden you come out and since he's playing hot, fast, you get a variance in results. You get a variance in playing styles where Atmane might not win on a slow, Indian Wells hard court where the serve kind of bounces and checks up and people have time and we see that kind of robo tennis like we've come to see now. I am all for variance. Make it slow. Make it lightning fast. Let's invite these different styles like an Atmane into the world because it's just fun.
Agreed. Okay, one more winner, and then we'll move on. Did you catch Jasmine Paolini's quarterfinal match against Coco Gauff? Big match, rematch of their Rome final. Paolini, at one point, rolls her ankle, and it looked really bad on TV. They go to a medical timeout, and there is Jasmine Paolini smiling and joking with the trainer. You would have thought she had just gotten cotton candy at Kings Island. Not that she had rolled her ankle and maybe jeopardizing not only this great tournament, but her U.S. Open prospects. And I wonder, not every player is the same. It's not one size fits all, but she is so loose and so genial and smiling and positive and optimistic when she plays. For all the intensity we see and the focus on coaches who are yelling, lock in, I wonder if apart from her breathtaking tennis that has only, it's been just as good in 2025 as 2024, by the way. I wonder if her attitude and personality and winning ways, if there isn't something instructive there about playing with a smile, and even when you're getting your ankle rolled on a Friday night session against a Grand Slam champion on the other side of the net, you turn it into a happy occasion if there isn't something instructive there.
Well, one, she's a matchup problem for a lot of players on tour, Coco notwithstanding, right? The way she plays, the variety with which she can play, that's story A forever because she has really figured out the nice pieces to her game to make her a matchup problem. B, Kings Island reference, well done. If you know, you know. And lastly, what I'm realizing at the grand old age of 42, almost 43, is that I don't think you can make everyone the same, right? If you would have tried to take John McEnroe and make him smile on the court, I think he would have been less effective. I think if you would have tried to make Pete Sampras into a showman, right, where he actually gives a shit that someone's watching in the stadium, I don't think it's as effective. I like defaulting to the personality of the player and figuring out the best working mechanisms, right? Work notwithstanding, right? I don't think you can be happy, jokey, and lazy. I think you can be hardworking, happy, jokey, confident, the whole thing. But I like the fact that we seem to be defaulting to the base setting of personalities and then building players up from there. I remember early 90s, it was all like, okay, you have to be quiet. You can't say anything. You can't smile. You can't show weakness. That shit's out the door. Look at Alcaraz. Look at Paolini. I like where we're going with this. We're not trying to square peg round hole it with attitude, and Paolini's a great example of that.
All right, let's do one error, and then we can move on. But it's not really an error. It's more just a talking point, which is this 2025 is going to go down as the hottest year on record, overtaking 2024, which overtook 2023. This is not meant as a political statement. Planet's not getting cooler, and this has a big impact on tennis. I don't know if you saw Medvedev dunking his head in the ice basket in the ice bucket. We saw Arthur Ashe basically pass out on the court. Paolini joking, of course, but talked about how the ice sausages on her neck were a factor in her success. The ice vest. At a challenger event, I don't know if you saw, a player actually left the court and was subsequently defaulted for taking a shower in between sets. It was so hot, he jumped in an ice shower. This is something tennis has to reckon with. It doesn't mean every event should be indoors, but I do feel like, in this age of climate change and global warming, we are asking athletes, and not just the athletes in their physical primes, but fans and chair umpires and ball kids. Climate is a real factor that I think tennis needs to confront, and whether that means later start times or whether that means some other, the Australia has that index. I do feel like this sport, and perhaps this sport singularly, has a real issue with climate change that it probably needs to address in some form.
John, you got to stop being an idiot, all right? Like, just because 2023 was hotter than 22 and that 2024 was hotter than 2023 and 2025 was hotter than 2024 doesn't mean there's a trend. So you need to cut that shit out right now. Do you understand?
Data, man. It's
screw you and your
objective truth is really out of vogue.
Screw your math and facts. I don't know how we plan it, because I guarantee you at some point in the next 2 weeks, we're going to say, geez, the U.S. Open needs to start their night session earlier because we can't finish at 3 a.m. And also we should have later start times. Like, I don't know what the solution here is. And I don't know, it's hard to build stadiums with covers because shadows go across. You can play. I don't know that there's an easy solution to this. I also think it does matter, and we'll see what the pushback is here. I felt personally that when I was going to go down to Australia and it was going to be, 140 degrees on court, I had to do my physical training. I did it in Austin, Texas at that point for, a month. My body was ready. And then I would actually go acclimatize, right? I would stop on the way over to Australia and get into the most extreme conditions I could. And 10 days later, they felt less extreme than when I had first gotten there and had been in, training in 40-degree weather. As people play less tournaments in this heat, right? Players are coming over later and later for the U.S. Open. I do think we're seeing, on top of everything you said, which obviously what I said at the top was a complete joke, and everything you're saying is completely real because, fucking science. But I do think the fact that, like, you do need to acclimatize for extreme conditions, whether it's 98 degrees, 102, you can't just kind of happily fall into that and 3 days later play a match that gets sideways in those conditions. I don't know that tennis can fix this issue. I think it needs to maybe be like a policy or earth type situation. But I do think as a player, if I'm noticing this trend, I would want to give myself as much time to acclimatize as possible. And it actually seems to be going the other way with people not coming over early for Washington, Canada, and then you get to Cincy, and it's like, okay, I'm pretty hot right now.
Yeah, and let's also, it's an easy talking point, but it's complicated, and also conditioning is part of sports and part of tennis, right? And there should be, when you're Jim Courier and you're spending your December running wind sprint, there should be some reward for that. That said, when these plays interrupted because fans are fainting. I don't know if that Rinderknecht was really, this is not a guy who's carrying around 50 extra pounds and hasn't gotten off his couch. I mean, when guys in their physical prime are literally collapsing on the court, you do wonder, what are we doing here? What are we going to do about this? But anyway, a storyline to follow as tennis rolls on and a hotter planet does as well.
JW, shooting this on a Monday, releases on a Tuesday. This mixed doubles spectacle right around the corner. Can you give me a little bit on that, please?
All right. See, I didn't want to put that in the winner, or we reserve judgment, right?
This is separate. Winners and errors done.
This is like a let court. This is a ball that hits the net, and it could either go on one side or the other. So
I'm so excited.
The revamped the revamped McDouble. You think it's a win no matter what. So a friend of mine wrote me a funny text. He said it's basically ABEV, which is anyone but Irani or Vavasori. What does that mean? The whole premise is that people want stars, and if we have a repeat of the team that won last year, Sarah Irani and Andrea Vavasori,
that's fine too, though.
That's great. I think
I don't mind that. Like, then it gives more credibility to something, like it shuts yappers like me up. Like, that's fine.
I wish I had the, I got to find the press release that the U.S. Open put out on Friday, basically saying, first of all, there's a protein or a vitamin sponsor, and then it said, Jessica Pegula has repaired with Draper, which seemed a little risque, but I think they just mean re-paired, that they've now become a team. And I think those were the names. And, Jannik Sinner is looking for a pairing. He ended up getting Siniakova, which is a nice, that's a nice pickup
for him.
Anyway, there's a lot of scrambling. How Jannik Sinner is going to play a Cincinnati final on a Monday night and then get to New York for mixed doubles.
But so is Carlos.
No,
Carlos is going to do it too. I mean, this whole thing is wacky.
They could face off in the finals again.
Wait, look. Do you have the draw in front of you?
Yeah,
guys. I need a second here. You guys are all hyping out.
So pumped.
You go.
You're like my son talking about getting like a baseball glove or something. Like, okay, you have this as a let cord rolling over. It's Monday. We're talking about the U.S. Open starting on Tuesday. I'm Babe Ruth. I'm calling. This is going to be a ratings bonanza. And also, if you're Sinner or Alcaraz, I don't know. It's kind of like the perfect thing. Instead of going out and hitting on a Tuesday, you're under the lights, you're getting match conditions. This could be perfect. Mike, you have some of the first round matchups. I haven't heard these yet.
I have the full draw. The full draw came out yesterday.
Give it to me. Put it in my veins.
All right, so top half. We got Pegula Draper versus Raducanu Alcaraz.
Are you fucking kidding me? Pegula Draper, Raducanu, Alcaraz. I'm sorry. Can you raise your hand if you thought this wasn't going to work? Or do you don't think this is going to work? Are you out of your mind? Go.
Danilovic, Djokovic versus Andreeva, Medvedev.
Oh, really? Novak, Andreeva, Medvedev. Oh, really? Tuesday before the tournament starts? Really?
Iga Ruud versus Keys and Tiafoe.
Give me a break. Next, in my veins.
Osaka, Monfils versus McNally and Musetti.
Great. All of it.
Now on to the bottom half, right? So these are the people that could potentially face those players, right? We have Siniakova, Sinner.
By the way, Sinner's sneaky. He's just been making good decisions. Siniakova, great doubles player, good singles player.
Potential buzzsaw, Bencic, Zverev.
You
got Townsend, Shelton versus Amanda Anisimova and Rune.
How much do you think Anisimova is looking forward to returning that kick serve that bounces the opposite way?
Oof.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
We got the legend Venus Williams and Riley Opelka versus Mukifa and Rublev.
This is amazing, and I'm not talking about the mixed doubles. It's that you've pronounced most of the names correctly.
I have the phonetics in front of me. And then Irani and Vavasori.
God, you were just...
Oh,
man, you
threw one up to you. Ribakina and Fritz.
This is... I'm sorry.
Even if they're mixed double specialists, that's a hard...
Ribakina and Fritz.
The number one thing I've heard from the doubles community over the last however many years, we have to promote the game of doubles. We have to get more eyeballs on doubles. Now, if that is your number one priority, it's the game of doubles and not your sliver of what I get from the game of tennis. It's doubles as a whole. We need eyeballs. We need marketing. We need all of this stuff. Now, is it we want doubles players or we want the overall game to benefit. If your option is we want the overall game to benefit, we want more eyeballs on this variation of the game, this will be an absolute ratings bonanza. This is a win. If you don't like tennis, hit me in the comments. I don't give a shit. You do not like tennis. If you hear those matchups on a Tuesday and a Wednesday night, and you're like, no, not interested. This
is like
stinks.
video game pairings.
Give me a break. Put it into my veins. Thank you for watching Served. I am going to go watch the mixed doubles, something I never thought I'd say. I'm going to go watch the mixed doubles on Wednesday night, and I can't wait to see it. We got shows all week. Mike, tell us what they are.
Yeah, so we'll be up in New York. We'll start with our draw special at the Fan Week outside of Arthur Ashe. It'll be 2 p.m. on Thursday. So the draw comes out, and we will wait probably an hour or so, and then we'll get on that stage, and we'll hit Andy with the shocking draws, and he can regale us with his picks. And
I don't
John
see the
can
draw before we go on. Probably a little bit harder to hide from it on site, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to go sit in a corner.
And then a couple days later, we'll be up at the Hall of Fame. We're doing another live show leading into the awesome induction ceremonies. That'll also be at 2:00, also from their Fan Week. And then we'll be sprinkling some other quick serves all the first week. And then we'll be back in New York September 3rd. Is September 3rd, Sean? September 2nd, we'll be doing a live show right outside the gates, and there's details for that in our socials. So give us a follow, hit subscribe. You'll find all the details everywhere that Social Sophie and Ella are posting them.
And definitely hit subscribe because we see the data and we see that all of you are listening to the Sharapova interview and you're not clicking subscribe. So do us a little favor. Just click on it. We are going to be giving you as much content as we can during the U.S. Open. Live shows, quick serves. Give us your feedback. Tell us what you want to hear about. I can't wait. Probably my favorite time of the year, going to New York, and now the U.S. Open is freaking 3 weeks long, so give me more of it. JW, thank you. Mike, I'll see you later. Thank you for listening to all parts of our little Frankenstein episode that will be out Tuesday morning, and thanks for watching and listening to Serve. Subscribe.